The development of the model took many years. As early as the late 1960s, the car was conceived under the code name Delta. Initially, the management of Rolls-Royce planned to manufacture the car to order with a design similar to the Shadow series. However, the leading English coach builder James Young closed his workshop in 1967. Therefore, the company turned to foreign firms and chose the Italian Pininfarina, with whom they had already collaborated on the development of the Bentley model. The task was to create an original two-door car for the owner-driver. It should be noted that Rolls-Royce already had a two-door Silver Shadow, which was replaced by the Corniche in 1971. Unlike the Shadow, the new model was not supposed to have a Bentley equivalent. Moreover, the firm Pininfarina was given other conditions. Mechanically, the new model had to be unified with the Shadow sedan, sharing the same chassis and, consequently, the same wheelbase. The car's design was developed by Sergio Pininfarina, the son of the company's founder. It is worth mentioning that, parallel to fulfilling the order for Rolls-Royce, the Italian company was completing work on the Fiat 130, which was presented to the public in 1971. Therefore, for years later, when the Corniche appeared, people immediately noticed that these two seemingly unrelated models looked very similar. The stylists at Pininfarina designed not only the exterior, but also the interior. The project was completed in mid-1972, and the following year, production of the car could begin. However, a series of unforeseen circumstances led to the postponement of the start of production to a later date. The most significant of these was the bankruptcy and nationalization of Rolls-Royce in 1973. The government put the shares of the automotive division up for sale. The situation was further exacerbated by a strike at the London plant that same year, which resulted in significant losses. All this led to the Corniche being presented in its final form only in early 1975. The Corniche model, like the Camargue, was named after a location in southern France, a resort where the wealthy vacationed. It was intended for people who could afford to spend time in such places and buy very expensive cars. At that time, the Corniche was sold for $90,000, which was $30,000 more than the Camargue. The new two-door car, designed by the Italian firm, received mixed reviews. It was an imposing creation with a sharply defined angular front, retaining the famous V-shaped radiator grille, which leaned forward by 10 degrees. The rear was distinguished by a fresh design, not overloaded with any excesses, and looked extremely sleek. Weighing 2,347 kilograms, the new coupe was 226 kilograms heavier than the Camargue. In accordance with the task set by the Rolls-Royce management to provide the new model with the best dynamic characteristics, the fuel system of the engine had to be modernized immediately after the first 60 cars were released. From the Shadow, the Corniche inherited the automatic 3-speed transmission, fully independent suspension, and a system to eliminate body roll. The car differed significantly from its four-door relative in terms of interior design. The dashboard, although it looked like wood, was actually made from a thin layer of Italian walnut veneer covering an aluminum base. A new two-level air conditioning system was installed in the body, providing the desired temperature for both the lower and upper parts of the passenger compartment. This system was later installed in the 1977 Shadow versions and subsequently in all following Rolls-Royce models. The upholstery of the Corniche's interior required 8 hides of pure herbivorous animals raised on pastures, with electric fencing. Attention to detail and a large amount of manual labor, combined with a constant pursuit of high quality, are what the Rolls-Royce brand embodies. Unlike other companies, Rolls-Royce never presented its new models for testing and evaluation of their road behavior to automotive journalists. This was the case with the Corniche as well. The company merely announced that the new car had a maximum speed of 193 kilometers per hour. In 1977, some technical innovations were introduced in the Corniche, including a rack and pinion steering mechanism. In 1979, the rear suspension was modernized, which was also installed in the Silver Spirit. Both models were intended for sale in foreign markets. In 1981, the engine received a Bosch fuel injection system, which became standard in 1987. The production process of the Corniche was quite lengthy. Only one car was assembled per week, plus it took no less than 6 months for its final finishing. At such a pace, it was difficult to expect it to be economically viable. Therefore, in early 1986, the management of Rolls-Royce announced the cessation of orders for this model. In March of the same year, it was announced that its production would be discontinued from 1987. Over the entire production period, starting from 1975, 531 units of this magnificent car were produced.